guy in the club for fishing every day. Fishinfrank. You say you want to catch some fish? Hey, welcome to the club. We're gonna help you get hooked up. So listen good now, bud. Fishin' Frank and Josh and Robert will tell you where to go. They're gonna share the scoop with you, and you'll be in the know. The place-by-place fishing report, it's your key to success. When you get on the water, you're sure to catch a mess. We'll tell you where to find them and how to make them bite. So sit back and enjoy the show, which is gonna start right now. Welcome to the Fishin' Frank's Fishing Club.
We're starting now, and I didn't know, was that a fade out or a drop off?
Of the music?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just fading it out manually.
Okay. There you go. I have to turn it off here. See, if we play music and we have our headphones on, it's echoing. So anyway, we're just another place-by-place fishing report. And the problem with this is we're covering so many spots, the Peace River, Myakka, Portugal, Punta Gorda, Venice, everywhere. It takes a long time. So, and Josh was saying it was just too long. And I said, well, people will listen to a bit of it. Okay, get tired of that, and then they'll go away, and then a while later they come back and listen to a little more of it. And believe it or not, on a lot of the videos we have a meter that tells how many people are completing watching the entire video, and that doubles about every 2 days. So it does get watched the whole way, and we can't make it any shorter. So
we could make it shorter.
No.
But we just have to have fewer spots.
You have to have fewer spots. And we've been doing it the same way for 15 plus years, I think.
Pretty much.
Yeah, at least 15 years or more.
Has it been only that long?
Yeah, it's been a long time. Since the early 2000s, we started recording fishing reports, but they were only on fishinfranks.com. Now we're putting them across social media, and we just today, literally just a few minutes ago, we can put video on the green screen. So that's been the hold up for us getting on the water. No sense taking a lot of videos if it doesn't work. So next week I fix my boat and try and get that so back in the water and going. And the following week we'll have fishing videos, on the water fishing videos.
Theoretically.
Oh no, we'll get it.
They're coming. It may not be the following week.
It'll be first, second week of January.
Yeah.
Minimum. Okay, maximum. Our goal was to have it on in January, start the fishing videos. And Josh and I are going to be at the Charlotte County Boat Show. I forget what day that are. We're going to be doing live talks there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Charlotte
that's
County
the 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th of January.
All right, so that's up here at the fairgrounds. First spot, where are we going?
Well, usually we start with the Peace River, Harbor Heights, and upriver along with Shell Creek. Is that where you'd like to start?
Robert?
Sure.
Fantastic.
I'm good with that.
Then shall we
gotta find
go to
the
the map?
wind-up switch here.
Hey, it's your guys' circus. I'm just here giving the information.
It's our circus, but
Okay.
he's our only monkey.
Yeah, pretty much so.
You're here to do what?
Yes.
Give the information.
Yes.
Good.
Okay, so on the Peace River, they are getting some snook, a few redfish, and then there was a bunch of schools of jacks up there. Did you hear about that with your neighbor?
No.
Oh, yeah. So
What happened with Jack?
Jack was out there catching some jacks,
Right.
and some commercial boys came by and they netted all the way around him and took them all. While he was in the process of fishing with them, fighting fish.
That's fun.
Yeah. He called me up to ask me if it was illegal, and he told me it was roughly about 100 feet by about 4 or 5 foot wide net. And I said, no, they're probably right there at the criteria. I said, what is it, small mesh or big mesh? He said it was small mesh. I said, well, yeah, they're probably legal.
Was he actively
But
fishing them?
He was actively fishing them.
So I would call that angler harassment.
I would. I'd say there would have probably been an on-the-water incident.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
Jack,
We don't need any more of those.
He's a big dude. He's well over 6 foot. But he's one of the nicest guys. If
Yes,
you come
he
in
is.
the store, you're talking to Jack. He's one of the nicest people you ever met. He's just extraordinary
Just
individual.
a great human being.
Yeah, and but I wouldn't want to be the one to upset him.
Oh no,
If
I
you
wouldn't want to
pushed
make a
him
mad in a
past
light alley,
that
let alone
line,
a dark one.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
You could tell he would not be pleasant to deal with, and that he didn't react that badly. A real compliment to Jack, because I doubt if I would have reacted that nicely. I would have probably just moved my boat into the circle of the knot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really would have.
Yeah.
I understand everybody's got to make a living, but if I'm actively doing something and you come in and screw it all up, I would have run my boat right in the middle of their net. I would have just started up and I would have right across the net, tore the shit out of it. I would have ripped their nets to shit with the prop, and it would have taken me a half hour to get all the net out of my prop, but I would have laughed the whole time I was taking it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Accidents happen. I wouldn't have done it on purpose. It would have been an accidental.
Of course,
thing.
yes.
Of
Entirely
course, it would have been
accidental.
accidental. But
Yep.
if you're going to be rude, I think I wish I was a good enough person to treat people the way I want to be treated. I kind of just do. I treat them the way they treat me, and it sucks. I wish I was a better person.
Yeah. Well,
All right.
respect begets respect.
So
but-
back in Jack's used to be up on the Peace River. Gone now.
Yeah.
Uh,
I haven't heard much
down
else
by
as far as
I-75. What's going on?
down there. They've been getting a few small snook, and a guy did catch a couple of trout down there.
Okay.
But overall, it's been quiet with several people that have been fishing around there.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out when the Goliath grouper come up there. I think they hit there more in the springtime, but I'm not sure. I was thinking about that the other day, and when the Goliath come up, biggest Goliath grouper I've ever seen in my life, minimum 600 pounds. I would say closer to 800 plus. I saw it I-75. So they're only there for a little while, though, and I was trying to remember when that was, and I can't remember. Over at Darst, possible small redfish, snapper, but I don't know. If you live on the Punta Gorda side, I'd go to Darst, give it a shot, but I don't know if you're really going to do anything. Patty Pier is done, right? So that's one by the hospital.
Oh, okay.
The concrete pier. I don't know if that one got wrecked or not.
It did.
Yeah.
But-
They all got wrecked.
Patty Ave, I think, is wrecked. Lashley's wrecked. Bayshore's wrecked. Anything at the north or south end of 41?
There's been some people fishing. There's been a lot of people fishing off the bridges.
On the bridge. I've seen
Yeah.
a lot of people on the Punta Gorda side.
Yeah, and they've been getting some small snapper, a few black drum. There was some good ladyfish. I haven't heard anything about them in like 2 days. And then they've also been getting a few trout, and even a guy got a couple whiting the other day.
Okay.
And he was fishing off of his boat underneath the bridge with the whiting.
Okay.
But it
As
has
soon as
not
Josh
been.
is done. Had somebody saying, I can hear the typing in the background. Well, one of the problems is this report is typed out and put on fishandfranks.com, and there is a lot of people go to read it. And the whole idea behind this is to get a more in-depth version recording, and then actually be able to have the print or typed out printed version on fishandfranks.com. And you just go on fishandfranks.com and hit the place-by-place fishing report.
We talked about the whole pants hiking thing, though, right? You do
Yeah,
that one
I
more
gotta-
time, I'm getting you suspenders.
Yeah, I know. I'm old. My butt's going flabby.
I understand.
Nothing to
Which
hold my
is
pants
why
up.
they invented suspenders.
Yes, I
So,
know. I could. Mr. Green Jeans is where I'm going to end up.
Wear them under your shirt.
Yes.
Are we
So-
moving to the next spot?
Bayshore Pier is gone, so we're in
Well, the Lashley
Porch Outlet
seawall
Canals.
might be worth discussing if there's anything going on over there.
There's
thought-
not anything going on over there.
I thought that was
Okay.
north and south end of the bridge.
Well, it's under a different category.
Oh,
So
okay.
There's the 41 bridges, then there's the seawall. And then we have Spring Lake Park.
Spring Lake Park's been quiet, but there's been a couple guys that have been kayaking through there, and they've been getting some snook and a couple mangrove snapper. He did catch one redfish and one black drum. And the black drum was smaller size. I think he said it was around 10 pounds. They saw several redfish. They saw several black drum. they saw one little tarpon roll. He was just trying to get out of the wind because he likes to fish mostly down towards Boca a lot, but he had family in town, so he's taking them place easy to kayak and safe, away from boaters. So,
just so you know, from where I'm standing right here, that's not where they are. They're that way. The two guys, Josh is over there, Robert's over there, and if I'm looking over there, I'm actually looking at the guys, but our camera's on that side of the... We have a TV for me to see everything, so when I'm doing the green screen, I can see what I'm pointing at. My camera's over there right above Josh's head, but it makes it look like I'm staring off into space. We're going to fix this. But
Somehow. We'll figure that out.
We'll get it figured out.
The ideal way would be
Isn't
if you could
this-
just be left-handed. I'd appreciate that.
Yeah,
That'd be
if I
great.
was left-handed and could be on that side, it would make everything easier, but I can't point that way. Put up with me looking into space, knowing I'm just looking at Robert and Josh. I can't do this with this hand.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Not that we ever see Frank just randomly looking off into space.
Only when you're talking, Josh.
The Port Charlotte Salt Brackish Canals, other than there at what was the thing we were just... Oh, yeah, Spring Lake Park.
They've been getting some sand brim still off of some of the docks. It's starting to slow down a lot with them, but the weather's been so cold, windy, and super low tides. For some reason this week I've had several reports of the sand brim. Sheepshead are starting to be seen in the canals, not being caught, but people are starting to see more of them. And then there has been a lot of small snook, both being caught and being seen. For some reason this week, I guess some of these snowbirds are starting to settle down a little bit and kind of getting their boats out a little bit, breaking them in, because they're talking about how unbelievably clear the canal systems are right now.
Yeah.
And I just had to tell them it's because, basically we are already in a drought. We're not even into the dry season, and technically we're already at a drought.
Right. This is Spring Lake back up here. This is the Port Charlotte area. This is Punta Gorda down here. Boca Grande Pass is over here. Now, these canals up in here are clearing up. They're usually very dark, and but now the water's actually getting clear. We've had so little rain for so long, and 41 comes right along here. You see, this is US 41. State law dictates that when water crosses 41, that there's a dam, a weir, a culvert, something to keep the fresh water on this side, and the brackish water comes up and only goes up to 41. So this is all salt water, and on this side is all freshwater canals, and those canals feed these, and all the leaves in the water, the tannic acids turn it brown. Doesn't necessarily make it dirty. If you put a tea bag in a cup of tea, does that make it dirty, or does it just make it tea? That's the same thing with the leaves here. It's like giant teacup. It's all brown from the leaves, but it's getting very, very clear and it's bringing a lot of fish. If you don't know what sand brim are, sand brim, this is a weird fish. It's sand brim, mohara, striped mohara. What's the other names for them, Robert? Sand brim, mohara, silver jenny.
Silver jenny.
Yeah, you got silver
The
jenny.
silver jenny is an entirely different fish, though.
Yeah,
'Cause
but
we
that-
have 4 species of mohara here.
Yeah, we've got moharas. This is, I think, the striped mohara.
The striped mohara is the one that gets big enough to be a panfish.
Right.
Then there's a yellow fin or yellow-tailed mohara, which is a little guy only up to about 3 inches. Silver jennies get to about 5 inches. They have clear fins.
Right.
And then there's at least one more that I'm forgetting the name of.
Tidewater.
But tidewaters, yeah,
Yeah.
which are longer.
But for basically, if somebody's talking about sand brim, they're talking about striped mohara. Silver jenny is a local name for those, even though it's for the smaller fish. People transfer the same name to the larger fish. It's very similar.
Yeah.
Well, and
But
they catch the little one in their cast net, and they don't know the
very
difference either.
expensive. What?
And they catch the little ones in their cast net. They don't realize that it's a different species. They just think it's a baby
it's
of the.
juveniles of the other
Yeah.
ones. But where was I going with that?
The expense of
sand
sand
brim
brim.
is an expensive commercial food fish. So you see a lot of guys cast netting them because it's actually worth more than mullet and several of the other ones. So
Probably jacks too.
yeah, Actually, jack goes pretty good money. A lot of countries that use those up to a certain size as delicacy meats, and then the standard ones still get sold for good profit. It's hard to believe stuff that we don't consider, viable, but sand bream is a big part of a commercial fisherman's money for the year.
Robert, if we were going to target a snook up in this area, what would you try to feed it?
I would be throwing just 3 to 3.5 inch paddle tails. That's working the best. If you're going out in a boat, I would be trolling a 8 series Yozuri or 8 or a 10 series in the Rapala.
I'd be pulling the 8 in the Rapala, real close to the docks, maybe a 10. Yeah, but trolling 3 to 4 miles an hour, trolling in the canals. Put the rod outside of the boat, not behind the boat, because behind the boat, you're trolling down the middle of the canal, and snook are under the docks. So I put my rod out the side of the boat, so you got the boat, but you have all this length. Your boat can be 6 feet, 7 feet away from the dock, and the tip of your rod just goes right by the docks, not the boat itself. So one rod out 90 degrees, and that allows you to fish the docks without having to run into the docks with your boat. That's a pretty good trick. So one rod 90 degrees out.
Brings us to the Jobean Bridge. Now, I know that there's no legal parking down there, but I was coming back from the Englewood Fishing Club last night, which they were nice enough to host me once again out there to talk to them. And the number of vehicles parked there in the median strip is getting pretty impressive.
There was a lot there the other night, yeah.
When we came back from the Englewood Fishing Club, we went to the Englewood Fishing Club party. If you live in Englewood, Gulf Cove, Rotunda area, join the Englewood Fishing Club. Especially if you're retired. This is the nicest group of people you're ever going to meet. It's Englewood Fishing Club. They meet once a month. You don't have to live in Englewood. You can live anywhere in the area. And it's very minimal fees, but they do picnics and lunches and fishing tournaments, and they do all kinds of stuff. It's a very active group.
$50 a year to join. And it's the
What
best
is it?
fish, 50 a year.
50
and
a
it's
year.
the best fishing club you're going to find.
And you don't have
the
to be a
area.
resident right there. You can live in Venice and come down and join it.
Is he actually loud enough?
You know what? I have to turn my ears down because of the delay, but I'll try them.
Yeah. Talk a little bit, Robert.
Okay. So the lady that won the raffle with the rod.
It's just hard to tell because you and I talk at normal volumes. He sits in the back and goes, "Yeah, I'd like to." It's like he's whispering in a secret club.
You want me to poke him or something? I can get a stick. I can reach him.
No,
I'll
it would
excite
take
him.
cattle
Yeah,
prod, and I'm
talk
not
a little bit
spending that
louder.
kind of money.
So, all right.
So anyway, what were you saying, Robert? The woman
that won the combo at the Christmas party.
Her name is Nan.
The next day, she posted a picture of her with a sheepshead that she caught on that combo.
Yes,
She was super excited about it.
That was so great. We were there. We gave away a couple rod and reel things, and we had a ball. And the food wasn't bad. I think the food was better the year before, but it wasn't bad this year.
The company is far better than any of it combined.
What?
The company is far better.
Oh yeah, the people
than
themselves.
The
They're
people
just
are
nice.
just amazing.
And there's guys in there, probably 40s up to 150.
At least
You know?
150. Yeah.
Nice.
You
folks
fit
there.
right in, Frank.
Yeah.
Jobean Bridge, Robert.
They're getting some snook off of there, even though snook season is officially closed now, 2 weeks ago. But people are still fishing for them, catch and release. And then they have started to pick up a couple of sheepshead. Not very many, but a couple. And same way with some trout. I've had a couple reports of some trout being caught right at the bridge in Old Pier proper. But even a couple people that are just upriver from that are catching some of the trout.
All right. Now, just a reminder, Punta Gorda, 41 bridge in between, Port Charlotte. Then you got Jobean here, and that's the Myakka River, Jobean right there. Now, we are going to have blow-up sections of this. We're learning this. We got this picture up. We're trying to get a digital copy of this that we can actually blow up and show you in depth all these little areas. So we'll actually have a section of just this area, just these areas. It's coming.
We're working on it. And
We're
we know a
working
lot
on
of you are looking at this on your phone, and the map looks itty-bitty, teeny tiny to you.
Yeah.
So
We're
we get it.
We're working on it. I mean, this is what, our 5th show?
And only our second place-by-place fishing report.
It's the second time we're doing the fishing report, and we've got 4 other shows. So
yeah, so bear with us. We're making it better.
And we're learning as we
But
go.
everything happens so quick. It's got to happen
we got
now.
the stuff to turn on, connect to the internet, we started broadcasting. We weren't going to take a few months and practice.
Right.
So
but if you'd like to complain, you can call Frank on his personal cell phone number. Go ahead and give him the number, Frank.
941-625-3888.
That is not your personal cell phone number,
It's
but that's
close
okay.
enough.
They'll take complaints there, too.
I've had that number for 42 years. So
It's a long time. Brings us to the rest of the Myakka from the bridge down to Marker 8.
Marker 8 is right here. If you want to find Marker 8, you get just inside it upriver and you see the red Marker 8 here. Look across till you see the Punta Gorda water tower. And when you see the Punta Gorda water tower, you line those two up, go back away a couple hundred yards, there's a 14-foot hole there. And that's going to start holding cobia and some small sharks here over the next few months.
The only thing I've had a report on up there was right at the north end of the Myakka cutoff was some trout and 2 little snook.
Okay.
I'm going to say the west side.
Tippecanoe Bay over here, typically this time of year is redfish and trout. Don't know for sure. On the other side, Cattle Dock Point is over here. And it used to be you could see the pilings. I think they're gone now. The storms have kind of knocked them out. But these used to be very good redfish right there. But I don't even think there's a piling left. I think all the hurricanes have taken them out.
Yeah, I don't remember.
They used to load cattle here and take them by barge down around to the end of Gasparilla Island down here, Boca Grande, and they would load it onto ocean-going, barges and go out and sell cattle to the rest of the world. But you think, why would you barge them all the way around? But from here across to here, the only way to get onto the island at that point was a railroad trestle. And cows don't walk good across the railroad trestle.
And they don't load easy into a railroad car either.
Yeah, and so they were, it was actually easier to barge them around over to here for a while. Then eventually they got on the railroad cars. They could put them on the railroad cars over at Jobean and start running them all over. But that was one point for turpentine, and cattle used to be loaded there.
The South Gulf Cove canals, Robert, anything in there?
I have not gotten anything from there. A lot of people coming in and buying some shiners and minnows and some worms, but I have not had any feedback yet this week. A lot of those people are just now finally getting settled in there, and it's also getting closer to Christmas, so
what's
the
weird is
family's
you
coming.
have all these canals here, all of this. It's a big, huge area, and there's one entrance where the locks is. So you've got a little bay that has a lock that you got to, go through the gates and allow the water to adjust. And I was talking, you could easily, if you guys voted, get that lock out of there and get it open passage. They absolutely love the locks because it keeps the water the same level.
Right.
So when they go out in my place, sometimes my boat's 2 feet down on the seawall, sometimes it's 3 feet above the seawall. So
and
my boat's
sometimes
going
it's
like this
sitting
all
on the
time.
mud, depending on what the wind is doing.
What is it?
Sometimes it's sitting on the mud, depending on what the wind
Oh
is
yeah,
doing.
I've had sitting on the mud a few times. We can't use the air conditioner unless we're on the boat right now, because overnight the tide could go down so low it sucks all the mud in there, and that's a booger. I've got hose connections to try and blow it all out of the air conditioner, but no, don't want to do that anymore.
Well, let's talk about the west wall then. What's going on over there, Robert?
Quite a few little redfish and some small snook up under the bushes. And then also on top of the bar, they've been getting some pompano, a few small jacks. Let's see, a couple guys have seen some short cobia. Nobody's caught any. And 2 days ago, there was actually some tarpon just on the outside of the bar, more closer towards the north end, like up towards, what is that, Trout Creek on the north end there?
Yeah. The west wall actually starts here at Trout Creek, and from Trout Creek it runs all the way down to Muddy Bay, where Cape Haze finishes. But from Muddy Bay north all the way up to Trout Creek, this is what's considered the west wall.
Nice.
And the sandbar is just outside of that. It's from a few hundred, 300 yards to a quarter mile away from shore going up here. But this whole upper end is just kind of flat. But as you get this lower half, there's a trough that runs right next to the mangroves. That's one of the reasons it holds so much fish. Where the drip edge of the mangroves are, you go down and then there's a trough, maybe from the water dripping there, I don't know what it's from, but there's actually a trough. So with the mangroves, you go through the trough and then it gets shallower going up to the sandbar. So right along the trees is deep as water, and that's why it holds so many fish on the west side. They can easily travel up and down going, if they get in the trough here at Cape Haze, they can go all the way up to Oyster Creek. The trough gets very minimal, and this last half a mile is pretty much flat from the outside to the mangroves. There is little areas and troughs and depressions and stuff, but it's this whole half, 3/4 lower side does have a major trough right under the drip edge.
Yeah, and I don't know what drives that. I don't think it is drippage off the leaves, because there's other places where similar things happen and you don't have that trough, or where you have a trough that's much deeper. And it's like, well, how did this get here? So consult a hydrologist.
Yeah, drawing straws out of whatever.
Yep. Robert, are we still using the soft plastic paddle tails here to catch those?
Yeah, soft plastics and shrimp are definitely dominating the bait right now.
And if I was going to use a shad tail right now, it's probably going to be the Mirror or the marsh minnow, or the Strike King Rage Tail. As the water's getting cooler, especially in the morning, the Strike King Rage Tail has much bigger paddle on it. The DOA is about a half to a third the size of the Rage Tail. I would be putting 1/8 or 1/16 ounce jig head on the Rage Tail. That way you can toss it up, and as you're reeling very, very slowly, it doesn't dig into the bottom. If you have a 1/4 ounce 3/8, the bait falls so much you got to reel it faster to keep it in the water. By using the Rage Tail, you've got that giant tail that just got tremendous amount of action to it, and you can reel it very slow. And with a 1/16 or an 1/8 ounce jig head, you can reel it slow enough to actually allow the fish to hit it. Now, if I'm getting back in open water, I'm switching to DOA Cal Shad, because you can actually work it and be a little faster. But especially morning fishing along the mangroves, it's so cold.
Yeah. Let's bring it to the Cape Haze bar if we can find it.
The Cape Haze bar, I have not had a single report on this week.
No reports? Moving on. Let's go into Turtle and Bull Bays.
Turtle Bay. Bull Bay's over here, closer to the Gulf. This is Bull Bay. And this whole thing here is Turtle Bay. Best trout fishing up and through here. I like fishing this back for redfish along this edge. But you got to watch from here up along this side. This side's very shallow going up there. But on this west side, there's a pretty good trough. A lot of manatees and tarpon come in here during the course of a year at different times. But this back area here, this last little bit, pretty much all solid skinny. But when you can get in there, get up against those trees, pretty awesome.
The main thing going on in there has been the trout, some redfish, and some snook. The snook have not been super plentiful in there, but they're starting to see more sheepshead moving around some of the oyster patches and around the couple of shacks inside Bull Bay.
Yeah.
The other thing is there's been a lot of mullet, because they're still, going through their spawn for the next 2 months. So you're going to see days where there's a lot of mullet in there and other days where there's fewer mullet. But always fish those schools of mullet. Always cast a bait or a lure into them, because you never know what's going to be following them.
And the hard part is we usually identify mullet by when they jump out of the water. They jump up, and it's amazing how well these fish can jump. But in probably the million years they've been learning to jump, I think it's going to take them another million years to learn how to land. They just belly flop. Whoop,
every time.
I mean, beautiful jump, graceful.
So I have a theory. I might be wrong, but I have a theory. I think that perhaps when those mullet are jumping and they're landing, that they're doing that for excretory purposes. And I think that because watch how mullet eat. And they're mowing along the bottom, and they're picking up all kinds of stuff, including little bits of shell, little bits of gravel, little bits of wood that's not really easily digestible. But when you see them in the canals jumping and then belly flopping down, sometimes they produce a little bit of mullet mud. In other words, poop.
They poop.
When they hit. So I think maybe if they're getting plugged up.
Escaping predators, dislodging parasites, helping in their digestion, and probably 2 or 3 other things I can't get to off the top of my head. But the number one reason I think they jump, because they can.
Yep.
I think all of those reasons, what you said and every other one, are all viable, but no one's been able to figure out exactly. It's like whales when they breach and they fall over in the water. Dislodging barnacles doesn't work, but maybe makes them feel better for a lot of things. But sometimes I think things jump because they can.
Can you have any more details about the trout in here?
Not really, because it's been mixed matched of a lot of small ones with a few bigger ones, but it hasn't been hot and heavy yet on the trout. Just a handful of reports.
Where are we at now? Gasparilla Sound?
Still in Turtle and Bull Bay, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that will bring us to Cape Haze and Danger reefs.
Yeah, we're going to probably have to get those off until we can get some coordinates up for those. Because there's no sense giving a report if you can't find the damn things.
I think the Cape Haze is on ours.
Yeah, I got the Cape Haze Reef on there, but I think Danger Reef can come off because it simply doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
Okay,
but
so
Cape
I'm just
Haze
going to
Reef is
delete
right in
Danger
here.
Reef from it right now.
And
but I can add the coordinates to Cape Haze Reef if you'd like.
It's on the website, but the problem with it is the reef itself is pretty much gone. It's kind of a hole there, but instead of laying the culvert pipes in kind of a Lincoln log thing, where you put 2 down, then cross 2, get a couple guys underwater and just literally stack them, they pushed them over, and most of them were laying on the bottom, and the sand has covered them up. And it's just bumps in the sand now. There's very little structure left. So I'm not sure how much longer. When the buoys were there, that was awesome fishing, but it was fishing the buoys, not the concrete on the bottom.
All right.
I think it's an okay place, and but it's just sad it's gone.
Yeah. I think that's a better springtime, most of the summertime, and a little bit of the early fall spot, but not a great wintertime spot.
But it's basically
anymore.
just a hole.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of structure left.
But that's what I'm saying, though, is because of the structure. The little bit of that hole usually produces some of the bait, so the Spanish usually really like it, and so do the little sharks.
Yeah.
But springtime, summertime.
The good news is the hurricanes didn't take out Gasparilla Sound, and Gasparilla Sound will be our next spot.
What I like Gasparilla Sound, this is an amazing area. The intercoastal cuts up through here coming up, and that's got anywhere from 10 to 20 feet of water in it, but you get immediately off to the side, and you can be anywhere from 6 inches to 2 feet of water immediately off the sides of that. And some areas have 3-4 feet, but you can go from very deep water to very shallow water, which at this time of year when it's cold overnight, the fish go in that deep water because the temperature in deep water doesn't change. It's probably going to be 65 degrees, and it's going to stay that. Where you get up on the flat, it could easily get down to 40 plus or 20s in the high 20s. But overnight, they'll fall in that deep water, but as soon as the sun comes up, they're going to come up, they're going to go in that shallow water and lay in the sun. And that's what happens this time of year. That's why Gasparilla Sound is such good fishing. Areas here like around sandfly, devilfish, anywhere where you've got the very deep intercoastal and shallow, like Three Sisters right here.
Three Sisters is a good spot for the trout right now.
Oh, yeah?
That whole immediate vicinity around Three Sisters, and then just to the whatever.
This is Boca Grande.
I guess that would be the south, towards the
Devilfish
south
Key.
a little bit, towards the golf course.
Yep.
All that area.
Pass, Devilfish Key, Three Sisters is right here. It's right on that. You see how this Gasparilla line gets real skinny, and then all this sticks out? That's Three Sisters.
Yeah. And then over around Whidden Bay and Catfish Creek, Whidden Creek and Catfish Creek, they've been getting a lot of snook underneath the bushes, been a lot of redfish over there. The redfish have been mingling both under the bushes and out there around sandfly. And not a lot of big ones, but the ones that are being caught there that are decent size are all being caught on some pinfish or shrimp. Not as many on the artificials over there from what I've been hearing.
Way back up in here, you've got the clam leases. If they're active, the clams pooping and all that, bring in a lot of sheephead and other fish because of all the stuff that comes to eat that. We don't know. We know they're leased areas, and don't throw at the poles. For God's sake, that's somebody making money. They're making a living. Leave that alone. But a few feet away, either way, and you can often do very well on fish if they're actively growing clams.
Yeah. Well, and any structure is always good structure.
Right.
It's always helpful.
Unless it's tires.
Well.
The what?
Yeah, but even then, there's times where that works fairly well for certain animals.
What is he talking about?
Tires. Like tire reefs. Like
you mean the
car
rubber tire
tires?
reef that's way up here?
Mm-hmm. He said any structure is good structure.
Yeah, but there's no structure there. Those tires went in the mud, Christ, 20 years ago.
But when they were there,
it wasn't bad. Mm-hmm. But they've been gone for, 20 years.
It's not the best kind of structure, but it's still structure.
Yeah, 4 pilings. Pilings are good structure. The holds bait fish, does all that. But
yep.
That's why you kind of confused me with tires. I'm going, there hasn't been a tire reef here in, 20 years. It's still there. It's called the rubber tire reef. The tires have been gone forever.
Yeah. You don't see them washing ashore anymore.
I don't know that those ever did. They went down pretty quick.
I would see them occasionally on Bay Shore.
Yeah, but that's just from people throwing them in the water. That wasn't ones that came from the reef.
Yeah.
That's just
people being dirtbags?
Yeah, that's just they got thrown off the bridge or whatever. That was just people littering.
All right, let's take it to Placida, the pier, the trestle, the Coral Creek Pier, Gasparilla Pass, and such associated areas as that.
The sheepshead are starting to move in better there along that whole trestle system. Still not a lot of big ones, but they're definitely starting to see more numbers and catching more numbers of them.
You've got the causeway, which is where the cars come across. That is the drawbridge. A lot of pilings underneath. That's good. But the actual, what was the Placida Pier, previously put back in the 1800s, was the Placida Trestle. That's how the trains would come across and get onto Gasparilla Island, coming down here at the end. And there was an engine turnaround down here so they could get the locomotive spun around and allow it to come back out. But this is all for loading turpentine, phosphate, cattle, everything that was produced in this area, fish. That was all shipped to here. And the railroad went all the way back around and it went up here to Liverpool. And that's why Punta Gorda became a big town, because it was going to go from Liverpool down to Fort Myers, but they said nope, and they ran it to Punta Gorda, and Punta Gorda got to be the big town because of that, although Fort Myers outgrew it rapidly.
Yes,
have they got picky yet, or are they still taking shrimp?
They're still taking shrimp and fiddler crabs. And then the one other thing that I had a couple reports on was some bonnet heads. Several guys caught some bonnet head sharks over there, mostly smaller guys, like 20 to 24 inches.
Okay.
Have not heard anything of anything more than that. I haven't heard no snook, no flounder, no other oddball stuff, just mainly that.
I was hoping for some smaller black drum.
Yeah. Well, that's coming, I'm sure, because that's usually a pretty good thing in December and January out there.
Yeah, that's why I was hoping.
Yep.
Okay, brings us to Lemon Bay, Stump Pass, Milton Pass, Lemon Bay Park, Indian Mound Park, and anything else you can think of that happens to be in Lemon Bay.
Indian Mound Park, they're getting actually a lot of lizard fish up there.
Okay.
The lizard fish have started to move back inshore like they did a couple years ago.
It's a great report, Robert.
Well,
There's
it's neat because for years we never.
These fish that are 6 to 10 inches long are hitting 6-inch spoons.
Yeah, I mean, there was years where you hardly ever heard of lizard fish inside. Now, the last couple of years, you're having like these banner weeks or months where everyone seems to be catching lizard fish. And it's neat when there's something that has changed out there for them to come in and fill in that little niche, and it just kind of makes you scratch your head and go, wonder what change that they're filling it in.
Yeah, from Placida you got to go up past Palm Island where the ferry is and all that. You get up here to Lemon Bay, you got the Tom Adams Bridge goes across, and then Indian Mounds Park is right up here too, and that's got a nice boat ramp, and the flats all the way around there. I just drift those flats, and there's trout and stuff like that on them.
Yeah.
It's not phenomenal fishing, but it's not bad.
Yeah, it's weird because so many people leave that area to come down to Gasparilla more than anything else, even though there is some good fishing up there. You just don't get as many reports from that area.
You have to, I think the guys who do fish it are very close-mouthed about it because there's a lot of competition. All of this area here is using a couple of different boat ramps, and that's a lot of pressure in one little bitty bay.
Yep,
And
I
you
agree.
can access that from the Gulf through Stump Pass down here. There's Stump Pass right at the edge of Josh's picture right there.
Yeah, I could probably point to it if I. Let's see, it's got that.
The other way.
And the other. It's way
Yeah,
over
there
here.
you go, Josh.
There's
Up,
Stump
up, up,
Pass.
up,
It's
up,
up
up.
over
There you go.
right
There, that's it.
there.
Point right
Yep,
at
that's
it.
it.
See, it's weird when you're using this screen. He says, well, just use your other hand. I said, I can point to whatever I want with this hand. I'm getting better at it.
Listen, I didn't say it was going to be easy for you to do it that way. I said just do it that way. It's Come on.
Later.
Do you have anything else besides lizardfish, Robert?
No.
Okay. Moving on. The Anger Pier would be our next spot, but it doesn't exist, so that means we're going to head out into the Gulf and look and see what's going on for bottom fish and troll and anything else out there in the Big Blue.
You know, I'm not saying, Gulf of America, good, bad, whatever. It's just really weird to say because we've been giving fishing reports, myself for 40-some years, Robert for almost 30, Josh for over a decade.
How many
And-
times do you think you've said the phrase Gulf of Mexico in your life?
Oh, tens of thousands.
Easily.
And now switching over, and I don't mind it. I'm very proud it's the Gulf of America. That's all good. But boy, is it weird. Definitely strange. Because my first instinct, and I'm getting better going, okay, we're going out in the Gulf of America. I don't know why. It's just, after all these decades, it kind of freaks you out. If you never say it like you live in Pennsylvania,
Sure.
why would you ever say Gulf of Mexico?
Yeah.
But when you do come down, Gulf of America, natural. But when you've lived, I mean, it's right here. We are right there. It's weird.
Yeah. I'm just going to stick with Gulf.
Yeah,
That way
just
when the
say
name
the
gets
Gulf.
changed back or gets changed to something else, then I can still call it the Gulf.
I don't think they're going to change it back. Maybe they will. Who knows?
Anyway, how's the fishing out there, Robert?
Oh, okay.
I mean, Robert,
I don't care. It's just the Gulf of Mexico to me and will be forever, just like Jewfish will be a Jewfish, not a Goliath grouper.
yeah, I don't think it's not a political issue, but
Do we have any Jewfish in the Gulf of Mexico?
We have a lot of them.
Are they in the
any
report?
Jew fish in the Gulf of Mexico?
Yes.
I'm going to get
Okay,
a little
great. Then let's
hat
go
with
with
the
that.
curls on it. And I'm going to come up with something for the Jewfish because from what I remember, didn't David beat Goliath?
Yes.
Right? David beat Goliath, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now Goliath got them back because it's no longer Jewfish, it's Goliath grouper. So now Goliath won. I thought
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
David whipped him once.
Yeah.
He's got to come back and do it again because, sorry, Jewfish, you're gone. Goliath, you win.
Listen, there's a real similar fish in Australia called a potato cod, so let's just go with that.
Potato cod.
Yeah. Are we getting any potato cod in the Gulf?
Sure.
Okay, great. Tell me about it.
So they're getting them at a lot of the reefs out there. The big adults are starting to migrate back inshore. This is the time of year, usually like November and December, depending on our cold fronts and stuff. They start to migrate back into their overwintering haunts. Some of those fish, like on the East Coast, there's one that actually travels from West Palm all the way up to just north of Savannah, Georgia, on a specific bridge.
They have satellite trackers on them. Whenever they get closer to the surface, feeding or whatever, pings off so they can track them as they come and go up and down the Gulf.
Mm-hmm.
But it's pretty cool.
It is. It's super cool.
I think your biggest is what?
My personal biggest, about 400.
Your personal biggest glass around 400.
A realistic 400.
Yeah.
Not some of these other captains that claim it would probably be 800 pounds.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a charter captain 650 to 750, just like, an actual 140-pound tarpon is a charter captain 200.
It's like
Yeah.
this is 6 inches. kind of thing. Yeah, no, mine's a legitimate 4 inches or 400 pounds.
Got to ask a woman if there's a woman on the boat how big the fish was.
Yeah, exactly.
They're more realistic.
Exactly.
What else we got, Robert?
There's still a few straggler Spanish mackerel out there. They are catching some mangroves, some lanes, and grunts in 50 to 70 feet of water. But the coolest one was the guy was in yesterday, the boxcar reef.
Yeah.
That's like 90 feet of water.
80, yeah.
Okay. He was out there. He got an amberjack that was probably pushing 60 pounds. I mean, it was a giant. He had it on his lap, and it was 4.5 foot long.
Actually, more I think about it, I'm thinking that's more like 60 feet of water. It's not that deep.
I thought it was closer to 80, 90 feet
the
of water.
boxcars are 21 miles out. 21 miles, that's only 40 to 60.
Okay. Well,
You got to get out 40 miles to get 80 feet of water.
Well, here's the other cool part. Freelining, because he's actually one of the few that actually freelines a bait, because so many people don't when they're out there bottom fishing. They got a 5 foot sailfish.
5 foot sailfish?
Yeah.
At the boxcars.
At the boxcars.
Wow.
That's the second one in 2 weeks that I've heard of. Not at the boxcars. The other one was at like M11 or M9 up off of Venice. Right. One of your father's spots.
They were showing up at Novak and Tremblay.
Mm-hmm.
There was like 2 or 3 caught at Novak Tremblay about this time of year.
Right.
Any of the reefs, whether you're 3 miles off the Gulf or out 20, 30 miles, you can have sailfish on them. This is the time of year for it.
Yeah, they like the cold weather.
Mm-hmm.
Had another guy that had last week off of Englewood. They went out of Stump Pass. They hooked a small wahoo that actually pulled the hook right next to the boat. He said it was probably about a 20-pounder. I forget what his depth was. He didn't specify. There was another guy in yesterday that they actually ran out to just beyond the Christmas Ridge, and they got yellow edge grouper, snowy grouper, some blackfin tuna, silky snapper?
Yep.
You got those. A lot of deep water fish because they were in 210 to 240 feet of water.
Yeah, I know a lot of guys that are running out. They're not even stopping in less than 100 anymore.
Yeah.
They're going out 120, 140, 200, 250. That's a long ways out. I mean,
Yeah.
Here's Boca Grande Pass, and to get to 200 feet of water, it would be like here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a long run. It's about 80 miles roughly to 200 feet of water.
Oh, no, I think it's more than that. It may be 80. Maybe 80.
Still a long ways.
Long ways.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, Frank, when we're filming on your boat, we'll just take it out that far and see what our depth
Where it
is.
is.
So,
And we will. The only thing is, these guys are going out there. Their boats cruise 50, 60 miles an hour. Some of these boats are running 70,
you can't get your
75.
houseboat up doing that?
I can get it up to about 30, 35, cruising speed around 30. I can get it, if I take the biminis off, 42 miles an hour.
There we go.
But it's not really made for that.
No, it really isn't. Anything else out here, Robert?
No, sir.
They bragged it started life out in 1964. The first one of those came out was to haul stuff from Miami to the Bahamas and back. That's what the hull was designed for. So it is, and
It's a big water vessel.
it
So, yeah.
theoretically is, but I don't really want to be out there in big water with that boat. No.
Ah. All right, the Venice jetties and the Venice Pier. The North jetty's open, the South jetty's closed, and the pier is fully open, Robert.
So the weird part is I have not gotten a single report this past week from up there.
What's fully open?
The Venice Pier.
Oh, Venice Pier, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the one by Sharky's?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Venice Municipal Pier, a.k.a. the Sharky's Pier, where you are legally not allowed to fish for sharks.
Right.
And they enforce
Sharky's
it so
Pier, but
well.
You're not allowed to fish for sharks.
Yeah, this week I have not gotten a single report from up there.
Okay.
I know
Then-
a couple of people bought fiddler crabs to take with them up there to go fish at the jetties, but I've not heard any feedback this week.
Well, I guess you'll know if they come back and buy 10 dozen.
Probably.
Let's dig in on the passes here. Punta Gorda starts it.
I got no reports for down there.
All right, Redfish Pass.
Redfish Pass. A couple of guys did catch some. There was a kayak tournament down there, so I was talking to John, and there was some redfish being caught right in the immediate vicinity of it, and a few snook, and a handful of pompano.
Just in the general area?
Just in that whole general area down there, yes.
But not the pass itself?
No.
Okay.
But for as few reports as we get from down there, anything that's close to that spot is good enough for me.
I'm typing it. I just couldn't type the word vicinity for some reason. It's got too many I's in it.
Ah.
Okay, Captiva Pass.
Captiva Pass, trout right on the edges of it, and some whiting, a couple of pompano. One guy did catch a flounder there while he was trout fishing. No, that was Boca. That's about it that I got for there.
I'm going to say this is the best looking pass as far as scenery, watercolor,
healthiness.
Everything. If you've got family coming into the area and you want to take them pass fishing and have a good chance of catching decent fish, but have some of the most beautiful scenery you've ever seen, that's Captiva. The north end's all sand with driftwood, and I mean, this is a beautiful, beautiful place right here.
It is.
Redfish is okay. Punta Gorda, the only thing about Punta Gorda down here is, you got the causeway and the bridge is kind of built up. This is natural. It's beautiful. There's some houses and stuff, but it is really a gorgeous, gorgeous place to go and enjoy the scenery, catch some fish. If you've got people who want to sunbathe, you bring them up, drop them off on the beach here at the south end of the island, and they can, go walk the beaches and stuff, and you can enjoy fishing in the pass.
Yep.
A little bit of something for everybody there.
No, it's a very, very beautiful area.
Yeah,
it's that
I drive
old
by
Florida.
Captiva so many times, and it's just gorgeous.
Yeah, definitely.
What do we got going on in Boca Grande Pass, Robert? Did those tarpon finally leave?
Nope, they were in there yesterday. They were actually in there good yesterday, from what I was told, and a couple of people were actually targeting them, and a couple were put in the air. I don't know if anything was landed, but a couple of fish were put in the air. There's also been some mangrove snapper in there, that on the more southern side of the channel, in that 30 to 35 feet of water range.
What happens here at south end of Boca Pass is this is pretty shallow. There's a bunch of rocks over here, which is historically very good fishing. They're kind of submerged rocks here. Still, some of them are usually sticking out, but then you go out and there's a sandbar, and then past that bar is where you have your deep water fishing.
And that sandbar has had some ladyfish, some bluefish, and a few pompano right along the edge of the drop-off. Some of the guys that have been bait fishing have been hooking some miscellaneous things out there.
When you see Captiva, when you go out with a big boat, you've got to go very far south and come around this sandbar that sticks out right here. That's formed right on the outside of the pass, because the water coming out has to come out, but the sand coming down wants to pile up, so it piles up on the outside, a big sandbar. And you're going to start to see that here at Boca Grande. This sand will eventually come all the way down like this, and the water will flow down and around, because we always have a north to south current. But they started dredging not inside the pass, because it's always been deep. There's a 80-foot hole and it stays deep. But from the pass out where the channel markers were, that had to be dredged down to, I think, 40 feet. And I think the first time they dredged that was 1911, 1914, something like that. But by 1914, every 4 years, they dredge this area out, and they haven't dredged it since, it was either 2001 or 2003 was the last time it was dredged. So we're starting to see more and more every year changes. This bar's getting heavier. It's going to start curving out. Johnson Shoals all through here. This is all going to change here over the next few years. Right now, you just blow right out Boca Grande Pass and go, but that will change.
On a low tide, don't turn right. Don't go north on a low tide.
No, on a low tide, if you come out of Boca Grande Pass and you think you're just going to cut here and go up, this sandbar is getting more and more pronounced. I'd say on some of the low tides, there's 2 feet of water on that.
Yeah.
And you got a big boat. That's not enough.
No.
There are spots. There's still some deep areas. There's a little deep trough right in here. But this is all going to change over the next few years.
definitely.
It's been, 20, 25 years since that's been dredged. So nature will put it back. When they first came into Boca Grande Pass, this was 11, 12 feet deep, just all the way across here. And there was a bar here, but all where this is 30, 40 feet deep out here, that was all 11, 12 foot deep before they started dredging.
All right. Are we on to the next spot, Robert?
Yes, sir.
The Gulf beaches, anywhere in the surf.
Okay, the main feedback that I've had was at Blind Pass, and then also down at Boca Grande proper at the very end of the lighthouse. And they've been getting some sheepshead, some whiting, a couple of ladyfish. The guy actually caught 2 redfish up there off of Blind Pass, but one of them he caught on the inside on the park. He went into the parking lot and started wading along the mangroves. He saw several redfish in there while he was doing that.
Now, Blind Pass is up past Tom Adams. That's all the way up on the top. Not quite to the next bridge, though, right?
Correct.
Yeah, because
You can go up at dead ends because they're still
Tom
doing
Adams.
road construction.
And then the other bridge is up here, but it's right in this area here.
You see that area where it sticks out back in towards Lemon Bay a little bit? Keep going north, keep going north, keep going right there.
Yeah,
That's where it is.
that's what I thought. It was
Yeah,
right up in
that's
there.
it.
I fished the inside of that quite a bit. I like that.
It's a pretty area back behind there.
Yeah, I try and tell people when they say they come down, they want to go out, and I say, well, if you go out to Stump Pass or Blind Pass, somewhere out there, that's what you came to Florida to see. It's sand. It's got a few palm trees. It's got a lot of pine trees, and it's beautiful blue-green water, and that's what you came to Florida to see. From, let's say, right about here all the way up. This is, when you come to Florida, this is what you actually want to see right in there. That's Florida. Picturesque postcard Florida.
Yeah.
This is real Florida. Oh, God.
A
It's
couple
so
of other
sad.
good options that we don't have any reports for if somebody's looking for some different places to go. Stump Pass Beach State Park, which now is cut in half by Milton Pass, has a lot of water flow going through there. I can't imagine that there aren't fish biting down that way, and it's easy to walk to Milton Pass now.
All right, you've got Stump Pass, which is here, and Milton Pass cut through here.
Yep, right through there, right at the narrow spot. And then, of course, there's Casperson Beach up in Venice, where the
Yeah.
rocks are, which is a place that doesn't
Is that
get
back
the fishing
open yet?
attention it probably should. Say again, Robert?
Is it back open yet?
I thought it was.
They had it closed for a little bit because they were doing some kind of construction up there for like 2 months. I know it was closed.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
They were
hard when
doing
you're
some-
in Florida because you got natural maintenance, beautification projects, hurricane damages. The list of why parks would be closed is very extensive.
Yeah,
You know.
unfortunately. And sometimes you don't find out until you go and
Yeah.
look.
You go to the
Because-
middle of Georgia, that park's there, and it's probably closed once every 20 years for something. But down here, they open and close so often, it's hard to keep up.
Yeah, and you'd think they'd put that information on, like, I don't know, their website or something.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Nah,
Nobody
why?
needs to
That
know.
would require somebody from the county or state working. We don't want to do that 4-letter W word with anybody from the state. They tend to get freaked out. We'll probably get turned off the air.
Yeah, it's hard. Really
Right.
hard.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Matlacha, Indian Fields, Smokehouse Bay.
The sheepshead are starting to move in a little bit down there around Matlacha. And then there's been some redfish around the
When you
Cape.
say at Matlacha, are they moving in at the bridge or?
I've been hearing reports of them at the bridge and then around the docks right there in the actual vicinity.
Okay.
And then those canal systems going into the Cape Coral area. There's been some of those smaller creeks that go into the mangrove systems. There's been
Oh, yeah.
a lot of little snook up in there and some bigger
There's-
snook.
There's canals I got to get so I can actually get my finger to do this. But there's a canal that cuts in right along here. There's a great restaurant. I don't remember the name of it. When you're coming in on Pine Island Road, it's on the right. It's next to D&D
Is it
tackle
Maselli's?
shop. What's that?
Maselli's?
Maselli's, yeah. When you go into Maselli's, go into the restaurant, then walk out back, and they got tables outside and the canals there. And that canal, the water screams through there 20 miles an hour. I mean, it's quick. But they got bubblegum feeders where you put the money in. You can get fish food out and feed the fish right there at Marcelli's. And the food's good. I've had we've eaten there quite a bit. But Marcelli's is right here. It's on the mainland side. If you get to Matlacha, you're too far. It's before you get to there. And it's that canal that goes into Cape Coral. That's that major canal. And it's a great place to, especially late morning, early afternoon before the sun swings all the way around. It's very, very, very nice place to sit there and eat in the water.
No reports from Matlacha Pass further north?
No, sir.
Okay. Okie doke. How about Pine Island Sound? What have we heard from there?
A lot of different reports from all over down there. They're catching trout anywhere from up on the flats and 2 feet of water by Quarantine Rocks, all the way out to like 6-8 feet of water out in the open water right there around Mondongo and Patricio. And those have both mostly been on shrimp, a few on artificials. The puffer fish are unbelievable, so bring lots of extra soft plastics with you. Be prepared to just go through them because it's just they're wreaking havoc on every artificial you throw out right now.
Another reason we go with the DOA, because
I don't care what color it is, they're eating it.
I was looking at one. There's 5 baits for like $7-8, and for $5 you get 12 DOAs.
Right.
No contest.
Yeah. There's been a few reports of some redfish down in there. Mostly the report that I had was Patricio and going into Jug Creek itself. Several guys have been getting there because of the wind last week. There was so much wind that some of the guys just stayed right inside Jug Creek itself and caught the redfish.
All right, Josh is not pulling my pants up. My belt sits right on that vertebrae that's broken.
Okay.
So it's getting the pressure off of that vertebrae.
Hey, that's one more reason to go with suspenders.
Yeah. It literally, the belt loop hits right on that stupid vertebrae, so I can only take it so much. I got to readjust the belt off it, sometimes up, sometimes down.
I know what to get
just
you
letting
for
you know.
Christmas.
That wasn't just pulling my pants up. That's, ooh, this is hurting. I think I got to move. I'm such a wuss nowadays. I used to go, it just hurts. Now I'm like, oh, it hurts. Oh, well.
Yeah.
Okay. What are we fishing for those redfish with?
They're throwing soft plastics up there, spoons. One guy actually got a couple to hit top water, but couldn't get them to stay committed to it, but they actually blew up on it. And then just the plain old shrimp. I mean, really can't go wrong with that.
Need a big one?
No.
You sure? Everybody needs a big one.
Yeah.
Got to have a hand-picked shrimp. Robert, how are you going to catch
shrimp.
a fish if it's not on a hand-picked shrimp?
I don't know.
I think if you're throwing the great big shrimp, it's a good idea because bigger bait, they can see it and do all that. But you're going to catch just as many with the smaller ones. But it's a little harder because you can't throw them as far. So
that's the only drawback to using a little bit smaller shrimp. But like me personally, I don't want a hand pick or a jumbo. If I'm walking a shrimp, that's fine. But if I'm going to be casting, I want a select or choice. They just do better.
And I do the selects and hand picks, fishing against the mangroves, but I tail hook them. Because if you hook them through the head, they tumble in the air and they fly left, right. You can't control where you're going to cast them. But if you hook them through the end of the tail, they fly straight. You don't have to, they don't do this going through the air. So they're not going left or right. The aerodynamics are all bad. When you hook them through the tail, they fly straight. The weight of the head pulls them forward, and then get a nice clean cast. 20-30% more distance, and you can throw it straight.
Yes.
But that's when I'll use those bigger shrimp, because that way I don't have to add the weight or the casting bubble.
Right.
Because if I'm sitting back, those fish are spooky, and I'm back 40 feet, that's a long cast with just the bait.
It is.
So that's when I'll add a casting bubble or put a jig head on or something like that where it gives me a little more distance. But it limits the movement of the shrimp. So by using a little bigger shrimp, I can get that distance.
Hey, just a quick reminder, we've got to do a how-to on a casting bubble.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, nobody knows what a casting bubble is.
No, and nobody knows what it is, knows how to use it. So,
Yeah, and it's
mandatory, we got to do
one
that.
of my favorite tools. I've been...
Oh, the guys from
89?
Idaho know how to use them.
Probably 89 or 90, I started using casting bubbles.
In Idaho?
Mm-hmm.
No, I was in here, but then in Colorado. Colorado was the first place I used them to extremes, but we used them with the tiny Clark spoon here for Spanish mackerel. And then I used them with dry flies and different flies when I was out in Colorado.
Yep. Yeah, we got to do that. We have to. It just confuses people. No end. Robert Jug Creek Shoal and Bokeelia is our next spot. I already added that there were some redfish in Jug Creek. What else can I put here?
That's it. Guys have been going down there looking for bait, but there hasn't been any because of the cold weather and the really low tides this week.
Okie doke. Burnt Store and Two Pine.
Burnt Store. 2 Pines.
No, Frank. Two Pine.
Yeah, I know.
Here we go again.
No, we're not doing southern pronunciation. You get to say the name twice. Okay, say it, Josh. Give me twice.
What?
Nothing, Josh. Never mind. All right, from this place to that place, and that place has the great big condos. When you look down the side of the harbor, this is the only place with giant condos on it, and that's Burnt Store Marina. And now I know there's a southern way of saying that.
There's some pompano on top of the bar. Literally from Burnt Store all the way down to Two Pines. There's been some ladyfish. Been even a few sheepshead moving around on those flats. Mixed in with some of the mullet. Because there's been a lot of mullet crews in that bar. And then on the inside of the trough, been a few trout. Up against the bushes, there's been a mixture of snook and redfish. And no, that's north. That's over by Pirate Harbor. So yeah, that's pretty much about it. So, you know, everyone's been going down there looking for. There was some tarpon down there last week that a few guys had found, but the few guys that ran down there looking for them couldn't find anything. But the shrimp is definitely the best thing. Danny Latham posted a couple pictures of some pretty big snook, and his customers were in and said that they actually were down just south of Two Pines, where they got a couple really nice snook, like 30, 32-inch fish, but they had that nice, clean, yellow fins, real clean-looking fish.
Okay, so when you're usually October, November, redfish will tend to come in on Gasparilla Pass and Boca Grande Pass. Now, they tend to leave these two passes as well. For some reason or other, we don't get as many through Captiva, but people see big schools of reds coming in here, and this is the area where they come in to spawn. So from Pirate Harbor down to Two Pines and this whole section here, and some of them will come up on the bars here, some will be down here on Bokeelia, Pine Island, but this bar right along Burnt Store here, this sandbar historically has some monster schools of redfish, and this is just maybe still some there, but this would be some late arrivals to the party or people who just redfish who won't leave the party, they're just getting done. But this is the last of it. If there's any big schools of redfish, this will be the last of it now.
Yeah. You always have a couple stragglers around, but the actual schools, they'll be
The big
definitely
schools,
gone.
yeah. You got things of 1 to 5, 6 redfish to be over there, but schools of 20, 50, 100 redfish. This is now might be a couple there right now, but mostly they're gone.
Yeah.
Right at the end of it.
All right, let's go to the East Side Keys and Pirate Harbor.
So just north of Pirate Harbor, I've had a couple customers do really good on redfish. They were fishing just on the inside of those little islands, and then a couple guys sneaking way back in there in their kayaks into some of those little creeks and doing really good on redfish.
You got Wine Gourd, and I forget the name of the other ones, but there's several back here.
And they got theirs on shrimp and also soft plastics. The
This
one
is
guy
where
was,
that Strike King Rage Tail rocks back here.
yeah.
We've been back in there. I was fishing there with Carl. We were throwing those Rage Tails. We were doing a show for Strike King, saying, okay, we took those same Rage Tails and went in a bass, and we caught tons of bass with them. The same thing, we caught redfish, snook, Goliath grouper, and some trout, other things. We were using a pretty good size one too. We weren't using a small one. We were using
I think you guys were using that 4 or 4 1/4 or something like that.
Yeah, we were using the bigger sizes. But man, we were way back into the trees back here, just fishing these little things, about that much water, and we're using very lightweight jig heads that we could just throw them up and just slow crawl them back through, and that thing's going with the tail. It's boom, Goliath grouper comes out of nowhere and grabs it. We could see everywhere around us. I thought the water was so clear. You're looking at it going, there's nothing here. Well, you cast anyway just because you're casting. And out of a little hole, and that Goliath was probably, I'd say, 20, 22 inches long.
Nice.
You wouldn't have thought, how did he hide there? I saw him dart out of where he was, and I never saw the fish was there until he was moving, hitting that bait.
Yeah.
So
That's that wonderful color pattern. That's what they do.
Do
I
we have
gotta get a
anything in
girl.
here besides redfish?
There's been some trout out front on top of the bar and just on the inside in the trough a little bit. It's been such low tides this week that I haven't had a ton of reports from over in there, period. So most of them have been the guys that are kayaking over there, coming out of Pirate Harbor and sneaking up into all that whole general area. Even inside Pirate Harbor, he said it was real slow, so that's why he came out and snuck up into those little creeks and mangrove islands back in there, because he knew nobody else was in
There's a lot of little things that
there.
appear to be creeks here, but it's just a big bay, and then there's island after island. You got to thread through the islands, and it appears to be a creek, but it's not really a creek yet.
Yeah. It's a pretty area.
I've spent literally weeks going through here with the boat trying to figure out where everything is, and now I got to go back and learn it all over again. Well,
good times.
every hurricane changes all that.
Yeah.
What's funny is the Cape's bar, the sandbars in the Myakka cutoff, the finger bar out here on Ponce, all the bars here at Two Pines, hardly any of this stuff ever changes. But there are places where everything goes crazy, and that's back in here around the islands. As islands fill in, they get deeper, they get shallower. It's really crazy. And all of a sudden, big heavy mangrove cover, lots of green leaves, and then a hurricane comes and the trees are all dead. And then all of a sudden everything starts growing back in different spots. So between the mangrove cover and the changing structure around those little islands, and mangroves that fall in the water and you can't get through this place, you got to get to that place.
Yep.
This is where it's very hard to learn, and without constant knowledge from the skating rink on down, and then this whole area here around Two Pines down into Matlacha, that's another tricky place to run.
Very.
All right. Well, our reports continue on their inexorable march northward. Alligator Creek, Poacher's Cut, and the skating rink.
Yeah, I don't know if Poacher's Cut is still even open. I don't know if that filled in or not. I got to go through there and check.
Yeah, I haven't heard otherwise. I don't know.
Well, there's that new pass between
Buckley
Alligator
Pass.
Creek and PGI.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the water's going in out there, and it used to be the water flow. Poacher's Cut was the only way to get from the Punta Gorda Rim Canal out to Alligator Creek. So the water flow there kept it open. As that other one go, I noticed it was getting more and more filled in. So we'll have to see.
Yeah. I haven't gotten any reports from up in there at all.
Okie doke. How about Ponce de Leon Park? Okay, that's all we needed to hear about that. The PGI canals in Punta Gorda.
Snook. They've been getting some snook. Some of the guys that have been trolling in and out of there have been getting some snook, and I'm just starting to get a couple reports now of some bigger jacks up inside there.
My favorite wintertime place, go in there and nail the big jacks.
Yeah.
There's so many cool jacks up there.
Yeah, and it's crazy because some of the sizes of those jacks just absolutely stun you. The snapper started to pick up a little bit better. A lot of guys are seeing juvenile tarpon around their lights. It's like the snook kind of backed off a little bit, and a lot of people are seeing like the little 5 to 15 pound tarpon.
As it gets cooler, those snook want to go in the deeper holes. And along the Rim Canal, up here, right about in here, there's some really, really deep holes, 20, 30 foot.
Yeah.
And back up in, there's some of the yacht clubs and some of the condominium basins. They got a lot of deep water in them, and the snook like going that deep water as it gets chilly.
Right.
And the tarpon take over their spots on the light.
Yeah, it's funny how that happens.
Did you mention the sheepshead in here? Did I miss it? Or?
No, a few guys have been seeing sheepshead in there off their docks, and a couple have been catching them by accident. A couple of them caught them on purpose, but they are definitely starting to see more of them moving around through there.
Okay.
It hasn't been hot and heavy, and it never really gets hot and heavy for the sheepshead in there. You just have these moments where they kind of come in little droves. People catch a few, then they disappear again, and then they come back in. You know, it's really odd with the sheepshead in there.
Years ago, we would see like thousands and thousands of mangrove snappers being caught, like 3 to 6 inches, 8 inches, and we kept saying next year's going to be the best year on snapper ever because all these fish are growing up. Boy, we're going to have the best snapper fishing ever, and then it would never appear.
Yeah.
And then we learned that, well, they won't live there. They only get to be a certain size. They move to the Gulf, and they're gone.
Yep.
And
They stay there.
what a disappointment that was to find out that as soon as those snappers are getting to the size we want them to be fun and good to eat, and they leave.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me?
Well, and that's because there's always a sprinkle of those oddball ones of that 12, 13, or 14 incher that you catch.
Yeah.
And
There's
you're like,
always a few that don't want to leave.
yeah. And then you're like, okay, see, this is what we're going to expect by next year. And then, no, still the same old routine.
All you got to do is fill the passes with rocks.
Yeah.
You get all the big snapper you want in the canals. What a
That's what it is.
Charlotte County government.
Yeah.
Any black drum in the canals?
They've been seeing a few, but not a whole lot. That water temperature's starting to cool off enough where they're just not really seeing many of them.
So what else is, what's next?
Next spot is Gilchrist Pier. Oh, wait, I forgot there is no Gilchrist Pier. Well, then, how about Alligator Creek Reef?
Still a bunch of little tiny cobia
Alligator
on
Creek
it.
Reef?
Alligator Creek Reef, a.k.a. the Concrete Reef, the 1 Mile Reef, the Charlotte Harbor Reef, the 41 Bridge Reef, and that weird stick-up piling thing out there in the middle of the harbor that I don't know what it's there for.
Right. You're right there. Runs 1 mile north and south.
There's been some short cobia on it. A couple of guys did catch some small, very small mangroves off of it. Husband and wife were trolling around it, and just
What are you doing?
I'm trying to show routes. I was going to do the route. And I said, well, if I could show coming down here to the reef and then coming over here.
Let me see it
As
again.
soon as you put your other hand up.
Give it another shot.
It's
I want to
okay,
give
I
you
was
every
gonna do
chance
it
to
from
make this a
here,
success.
And, okay, it's there. And I was going to say, if you came down from Ponce, I can't do it. I was thinking, if you come down here and you come down from Ponce and you go slightly to the left or straight out of Alligator Creek. I was like, you have no idea how weird this is to work with a green screen.
It looked like you were trying to practice
Weathermen
juggling
don't
without any
get
balls.
paid because they're going to predict the weather because they're almost always wrong. I mean, I would say our local weather guys are right 10, 20% of the time, but they get paid because they can point at crap on one of these maps and make it look easy. They go to college.
That's the only
just
qualification.
to do that.
Yeah, that's it. That's all they actually
can't predict
learn.
the weather to save their butt. I'm going to save your family's life. If you tell me what the weather's going to be this afternoon, my family's going to die.
Yeah, well, they don't predict the weather. The computer predicts the weather, but the computer can't point at the green screen for you.
I am telling you, the only reason weathermen make that money is because they can go to one of these and go, oh, look at this and this, and it looks easy.
Robert,
Yes,
cobia,
sir.
mangrove snapper,
Robert's
anything
just
else?
got his head down going, is he again? Oh, God.
That's it. Just the cobia and the mangrove snapper, yeah.
There were no Spanish mackerel or bluefish or ladyfish or tarpon?
Nope.
Okay, because we had all of those last week.
Yeah.
How
Just out of
quickly a thing will
curiosity,
change.
But you have that lower tide going on with that colder weather this past week. Kind of changed things up a little bit in that whole harbor. And the deeper
Imagine
water.
that.
Yeah,
Conditions
man, yeah.
changed and the fishing
Yeah.
changed?
How
How
about that?
weird.
Is there a best bet for this week?
We're still going through spots.
What spots do we have left?
We have the 20-foot holes.
Oh, sorry. There is the 20-foot hole. There is the middle hole. And there is the Pirate Harbor hole.
Robert,
there's
tell
been
us about the amazing fishing.
No, it hasn't been amazing. A couple people have been side scanning some tarpon in there. There was tarpon in there last. Was that Monday? Sunday or Monday?
That up here in the 20-foot or in the middle hole?
More in the upper 20-foot hole.
The upper hole?
The normal.
The regular
yeah,
hole?
The regular 20-foot hole.
Yeah, that's all the way up here.
They did get a couple of Spanish mackerel and bluefish. One decent bluefish. It was, I don't know, looking at the picture in the lady's hand, it was probably 15, 16 inches.
Not bad.
Yeah. I mean, for here, anyone from the
Remember that
Northeast
one
is
guy got in
laughing.
Burned Store Isles, and it was, what,
Oh my God,
37,
that
38
thing was
inches
huge.
long?
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Huge bluefish.
Were they trolling? Were they...
Yeah, they were out there trolling and drifting around because they were looking for the tarpon, but they had other smaller baits out, just screwing around, seeing what they could pick up.
Okay. Zuper. That does bring us to the bait fish report.
Nope. 0, nothing, nada. Used shrimp.
Okay. 0, nothing,
Even several
nada.
people that have been trying to catch pinfish out there have been having a hard time. A few guys have been getting them, but
We had the guy who was going to sell us pinfish. He's a crabber. He says, "Oh yeah, I was out there, and it was like a Thursday." He went out. He called me and said, "I can go out and get you a bunch of pinfish. What do you pay?" And we talked about the price. I said, "I'll take everything you can catch, bring them in." And he was just wanting to make some extra money. He goes back out, nothing. Never found a pinfish. That was 2 days later.
Well, no, his boat broke the next day.
Well,
Then he couldn't find any the next day. Then the next day after that was, I'm going to go try, but I won't. I'll let you know. And then that was, yeah.
Commercial fishermen are such.
Thank you.
So do we have any more spots?
Well, there is the freshwater report in which we talk about creeks, canals, rivers, ponds, lakes, ditches, spillways, bathtubs, and mud puddles where you might find a ditch pickle.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Is he okay? I mean, wandering around looking for ditch pickles is not exactly,
Ditch pickles are a ton of fun.
I'm not sure I want to know.
I've got a 3-weight fly rod, and I love catching ditch pickles.
I think let's just move on to some bass fishing, Robert.
Okay. So people have been buying shiners and minnows going out there fishing for the bass and the crappie, but I have not had any wonderful feedback on either one. A couple guys did catch some 1 and 2 pound bass over at the those ponds on Kings Highway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They tried some minnows, didn't get any luck except for 1 Mayan cichlid, but they did catch those 1 to 2 pound bass on them. So that's
okay.
the
I'm
honest-
sorry, and I'm gonna hate myself. What the hell's a ditch pickle?
A little bass. Little bass. When you're catching little guys up to about that size. Little
Quarter
largemouths.
pound, half pound.
Yeah, little quarter pound to pound largemouth bass.
A pound is a bass.
Now, a pound is the largest of the ditch pickles.
Okay. I don't know why, but I didn't
don't know how
want to
you
know
lived
what a
this
ditch
long
pickle was.
without knowing what a ditch pickle was.
I'm just not sure him out looking for ditch pickles was what I wanted to know about. But
That's because you can go a million
couldn't
different
take it
directions with
anymore.
that.
It's better than going out looking for pitch tickles. Robert, you knew what a ditch pickle was, right? Yeah. Robert knew.
Yeah.
Try to keep up.
I'm glad I didn't know. I am absolutely.
There's some things that you're
not
better
one-
off not knowing.
But now you know.
It really
There's
is.
not
know
one
forever.
part of me that needed to know what a ditch pickle was.
Except there was because you asked.
No,
Was
I
there
said
anything else in
needed to know
freshwater?
before, but now
No.
once you're talking about, I'm going out. I'm going to cruise for some ditch pickles, and I think I'm just
right.
going to have me a hell of a time here catching ditch pickles.
Absolutely.
And it just worried me a little bit.
Yep.
So anyway,
Are there any tarpon reports worth mentioning here? I know you said there were some in the past.
If you want a chance to try to catch one, go to the Boca Grande Pass because there are fish in there.
And what would you fish?
I would be trying a bait fish, whether it's a squirrelfish, pinfish. If I could find like thread fins or something like that just off the beaches where they might be out there, I would try that. If I could this is where I wouldn't mind having a bigger shrimp, like a select or a hand pick or a jumbo.
Jumbo for that.
I would try that for sure. Artificial wise, I honestly I wouldn't be hesitant to actually go out there and try like actually one of those slow pitch vertical jigs. One of the wider, fatter ones. One of the fatter, shorter ones.
Yeah.
I would definitely try that. I mean, enough guys have hooked them offshore when they're out grouper fishing in the springtime when tarpon come through on vertical jigs and bucktails. I would absolutely try that.
Where do we get that off-brand one, whatever one that is? Not the Williamson or
Florida Tackle Company.
Is that Florida Tackle?
Or JYG.
I think it's Florida Tackle because they've got those short ones that are real wide.
Yeah, that's a Florida Tackle Company.
Yeah, Florida Tackle. I think that would be the one I would want to try. Name brand isn't that important except for name recognition. But they've got a really cool one. It's got kind of a ridge and it's fairly flat. And when you'd come up, if you give it a little short drop like that, I think it would flop and wiggle pretty good.
Right.
It's got the right shape for what I would want to do for tarpon over, say, the Williamson and all that.
Yeah.
Although I'm sure they'd work. But as soon as you said vertical jigging for tarpon, that Florida Tackle one popped in my head. I said, that might be a really good idea, Robert.
Yeah.
You've had those before where these two things are not like the other, but, we put them together there.
Yeah. Okay. I'd be willing to try that without a doubt.
Yeah. I think that would be if I was going to buy one, if I already had vertical jigging lures, I would just use whatever I had. But if I was going to go actually buy one, it'd be that Florida Tackle one.
Yeah.
I think that would.
Yeah, I like that one. The size of that profile looks just
about
the right size.
Well, for Boca Grande Pass, and the tarpon, it seemed to me that just the shape, the style would be the way to go.
Definitely.
So
that has run us out of spots. Yes.
Okay.
So if you want to harass Robert for a best bet, then now would be the time.
No, I don't really think there is a best bet. Try one of the spots, see what you can do.
Would you care to take your seat again, or would you like to just continue standing there? Because you can do that. I don't care. You can do all the things you want.
Okay.
And I think that gets us all again. There we are. Oh, hi.
Yeah.
So nice to see you.
Yeah, well, it's nice to be seen, not viewed. I'm sitting here and I feel like I should be laying on this going, okay. Are we wrapping it up?
I think so.
I thought we were, yeah.
Okay.
Unless you had other things that you wanted to discuss, or if you wanted to carry this forward for some unspecified reason that I don't know about.
Why don't you play me a little music?
I can play you a little music, yeah. I can get us into
that. And then we'll start with a little music, then we'll go to the logo.
Yeah, I can get us into a little bit of music here.
All right. We've Fishin' Frank here. Captain Josh Olive over there, who's the fish coach. You can go to fishcoach.net. And Robert, you go to Fishin' Frank's, and he's there 5 days a week. Tuesday and Wednesday, Terry runs the store, but 5 days a week, Robert runs it. So Thursday through Monday, go down and see Robert at Fishin' Frank's. And me, I don't know that you would actually see me anywhere. Maybe running through the fields in the elusive butterfly of dreams.
Possibly, or you could be at a restaurant, or anywhere you might find a sandwich. I can't talk. Ears don't work.
That's good. We're not arguing with that. Is the music playing?
It is. Yeah, it's going.
Oh. We'll start it over again so I can hear it. Okay. Yeah, lots of feedback. But
yeah.
Fishin' Frank, Robert, Captain Josh, see you guys next week. Actually, we'll see you in a couple of days, 3 a week. So, see you in a couple of days.
I'm muting us.
Yep.
catch some fish? Hey, welcome to the club. We're gonna help you get hooked up. So listen good now, bud. Fishing Frank and Josh and Robert will tell you where to go. They're gonna share the scoop